Hello, my name is Reese Humphries, student ID C35910076, and this is my production project for my level 6 course of Digital Forensics and Cybersecurity. My topic was to do an escape room for a digital forensics escape room to be used on open days for the uni to help entice students to bring into the university. I designed the room in a way that I'm able to have tasks that would resemble that of the digital forensics side of it, but also have tasks that were both physical, such as searching the room, and also kept it to a level where students who had very little knowledge of digital forensics were able to complete the room without having to ask for assistance from the supervisor and whatnot. I designed the room to the level of that it would take 15 to 20 minutes to complete with a maximum time of 15. I designed the room to have multiple tasks to be completed to, in a sense, complete the room. 6 main tasks. These 6 main tasks being the name of the suspect involved, current and previous phone number, coordinates of the suspect's HQ, gaining the name of the accomplices, other locations of potential crimes, as well as the final key. I also designed from the room 2 documents, the first being a participant's scenario brief and a supervisor's brief. I also have created a document that basically outlines all the notes needed, as well as the hints throughout the room that would be present, such as like hex conversion table and whatnot, as well as the code messages and so on and so forth. So to set up the room, it's simple. Just have a standard office space with desk, computers, shelving with books, files, a filing cabinet, and whatnot. Also taking into consideration possibly having lock boxes with padlocks, digit-based padlocks, key-based, and so on and so forth. Once that's all set up and clues are and tasks are throughout the room, we go on to, in a sense, what I consider the first task, though it isn't really. That being what I call the coordinates task. And the coordinates task is simple. There are items throughout the room, more than likely pictures, that have partial coordinates on them. These partial coordinates combined would then create a full coordinate. And as you can see here, there are 8 partials, therefore 4 full coordinates. By combining those, we would gain, by correctly guessing them, we would get this full coordinate, which when inputted into just Google Maps, we would gain this location here, which is the one stated. There is also later on, when looking through the mobile file on Cellebyte, the location can also be found there, which would grant coordinates that look like the one stated here. Next we go on to the locked box puzzle, which would involve these 3 clues. They are somewhere hidden in the room, and it involves hex conversion. By converting these specifically, you will find that they make up the sentence. The password for the safe is, or the password for the lockbox, or whatever variation you wish to change it to, is split the 2 digits and then several dashes as shown here. And then by finding all 3, you will be able to gain the full password, which in this case would be 231712. The password for that is also needed for the final key, which is hinted at somewhere within the room, which is on on a piece of paper that is within the same location as the USB that contains the file, the mobile data file. Next we move on to the mobile data file, which has a bunch of information on it, that being the name of the suspect, the phone numbers which are needed to complete the room, the location as stated before, if you look very good, the name of the suspects due to text messages between specific members, as well as the IICD, which is needed to be able to complete another piece of the there are 2 other pieces. Sorry, the first is the IICD, which both IICDs which are needed to complete another part of the puzzle. A separate puzzle, and the current SIM operator, which is needed for the final key. And now we get on to this. Within the lockbox that the hex conversion would have granted the password to, there is a notebook which contains this information. These are passwords, these are addresses that are ciphered, specifically Caesar ciphered. Somewhere within the room there would be, in a sense, this information to do with the ICD, where it shows basically how to do this to gain the checksum, due to the fact that there will be a clue near the location of this information stating that the checksum from this is the shift for the Caesar cipher, which will in a sense grant this information. The current ICD would help solve the first 3, whilst the previous would solve the final bit, final one. That information extracted would grant these addresses, and the final sentence would translate to this, which would give a hint to the final to one of the pieces for the final key. And as you can see from on here, the math is clearly stated. And then we go on to the final key. The final key is what's needed to complete the room. there are, in a sense, 3 parts to it. The hex coded digits, which is the locked password, which, if you remember correctly, was 237012. The cipher clue, which was stated, was the current SIM operator, which is 31041210. The 2 checksum digits combined into 1, so 9 for the first, for the current, 4 for the previous, combines into 94. Add those up, you get 542216. That is the final key, and that is what's needed to complete the room.